Good everybody. Welcome to the Invisible Sensei podcast. I'm coming to you in the evening. And I'm coming to you in the evening because my guest tonight has taken time out of an extremely busy schedule to share his thoughts on his training, on his journey, on his aspirations in terms of being a karateka. I first kind of became aware of him, I would say, maybe 10 years ago. And I was going through YouTube, as many of us I want to do, and I came across these incredible martial artists having the hardest sparring session I've ever seen. Like, to the point where I was kind of thinking, yeah, I would not want to meet those guys in dark alleys. And chief amongst them was this really fit looking, really obviously well-trained martial artist who, like myself, had taken some time to mark his journey on his skin. So immediately that got my attention. Also the quality of his karate. And then as I kind of learned more and heard more about him, I was amazed to learn the depth of his humility, the lengths to which he's gone to study karate at its deepest level in the home of Karate Okinawa. Now, if you have an opportunity, do check out his incredible, I'll put a link to it actually on YouTube. He recently, or fairly recently, went through his Rokudan grading in Okinawa, and there's a wonderful interview only half an hour before he went through an extremely scary, rigorous grading. He's a Uechiru practitioner, and aside from that, he is an accomplished actor and something of a celebrity, although he'd be the last person to tell you that. In our pre-conversation, we talked about if I'd known the kind of profile that he had, I think I would have been a lot more nervous than what I am. But in the few minutes that we've had a chance to conversate, I have felt extremely comfortable, and I'm already looking forward to our conversation today. So Shai Hai Sensei, thank you so much for taking time to be part of my little Invisible Sensei podcast. It means a great deal to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your kind words. I almost feel not worthy, and I'm very proud to be part of your journey, my brother.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I remember one of the things that struck me most on learning more about your journey in the video, an excellent video that was done probably against your will by our friend Chris Wilson regarding your journey to Rokudan. And I guess before we get into that, I think everyone who listens to this podcast or watches it on YouTube, they are watching as martial artists. So rather than talk about how did you start and why did you start and all those kinds of things, which are extremely important things, I would like to start by asking you, what are you working on in your personal training at this time? What's something that's going through your mind and that you're attempting to grasp in your own training?
It's a very good question, I think. So martial arts, especially karate, I found it that the purpose of it changes all the time. Yeah? It's like if I started when I was a kid because I wanted people to stop harassing me or bullying me, then I, like in the later years, I continued because I wanted to be a champion and I wanted to beat other people. Yeah, I wanted to be better than them. Then when you accomplish this, then the purpose again changes. And I wanted to have students, I wanted to have good, strong students and to, like have a big school in Israel with many people worldwide even. So I was teaching in Hawaii, I was teaching in Italy, I was teaching in Israel, sometimes teaching in Japan. And, I was doing a lot of that thing, but the purpose again changed. And, when I had my children, now I have my son, Kiyoaki, which I named after my sensei, Kiyohide, is now 11. And my daughter, Day, which is, the bow in karate, she's now 10. And I have a small child, a daughter, her name is Juno, which means means the sound of trees. Yeah, it's in Japanese. So nowadays, I want to give them the, like, pass on to them what brought me so much joy and happiness and awareness in life, which is martial arts. And martial arts now became very intimate thing for me. Yeah, like the trainings. For me, it's not about going to the dojo and sweating and fighting anymore. I'm every day I'm performing karate. Yeah, but I'm doing it on the beach, and I'm doing it all. It's almost like a kind of like a ceremony or a prayer. Yeah, I'm doing 3 times sanchin, and then 3 times I go into the water, in the sea. Yeah, like to wash myself, to purify myself. Then 3 times seisan, then 3 times into the water, then 3 times sanseiryu, then 3 times into the water. A little bit I talk to God, ask him to protect me, protect my family, and keep giving me the knowledge and keep giving me whatever I need for a good life for me, my family, and my people. And I find that there's nothing equals to this. This gives me a lot of power. This gives me a lot of strength, and my mind is silent, is calm, and I can, I pretty much think I can win every obstacle I meet in life. So martial arts, for me, it is a very deep thing. It's more than kicks, more than punches, and I feel like I can always find something more hidden in this ancient art. So the search for the esoteric parts, the hidden parts, the maybe the collective parts from the collective unconscious, the worldwide collective unconscious, uh, old world ways of thinking, that hidden parts of karate that you can find in, let's say, Jewish mysticism, or like we talked before, Maori culture. I'm not saying it came from karate, but I'm saying that there's a very old knowledge, yeah, embedded in karate, in martial arts. That this knowledge you can find almost in every ancient culture, or civilization, or ancient ways of thinking. And this culture nowadays, in our civilization, in the age of MMA, in the age of fast food, in the age of, we're living in a very sick society nowadays. So this knowledge is almost gone completely. Nobody cares about it, but it contains so much philosophy and so much important things that, for me, every day is an adventure. So I think it keeps me rooted, especially I come from, my line of work is show business. Yeah. So it's very superficial, and it's, you see a lot of, really, I don't want to curse. Yeah. But you see a lot of shit there, and you have to have some way to keep yourself grounded and keep your spirit, feed your spirit. And martial arts is, especially Okinawan karate, is very suitable for that, I believe.
You talk about, one of the things, you've got an excellent blog that I've been reading, and I'll put a link in the description to it, and it goes extremely, extremely deep. There's some wonderful themes that you build into, I guess, your experience, and you were talking about your own religious and spiritual background. And one of the things which I think is really apparent is transformation, and going through different stages, and looking at different
Yeah.
interpretations. So I guess my question is, if you had to talk about your transformation thus far in your journey in karate and martial arts, in your upbringing, in your life, um, within the performing arts, with being an actor and all those sort of things, how would you define, if you can, the various stages of that transformation thus far?
Yeah. So, talking about this transformation, and because karate is clearly an art of transformation, of purification, a way to find the prima materia, the prime matter that we are all made of. Yeah? And it is very hard to talk about this prima materia, this matter, because what is it? You cannot talk about those things, the hidden things. But I remember there was one night. I remember when I was, sitting with the Shinjo Sensei and talking to him, and he said something that really changed everything for me. He explained to me about Shinjin-bu. It is Shinjin-bu. It's like the dynamics between God, people, and Buddha. And it was the first time I've heard about it, and you don't hear many teachers talk about this aspect of karate. So he explained about these things, and later on in life, when after I came back to Israel, I found an old book written by my great grandfather, and it was written in handwriting and in a different language, because Hebrew, the modern Hebrew, was not it did not exist that time. Yeah, so it was written in kind of like half Arab, like weird language. Yeah? So I had to send it to the university so they can translate it. And after 2 months, they gave it back to me. And much to my surprise, I found a lot of things that he wrote there. He was a very famous rabbi. Yeah? He wrote there a lot of things that Shinjo Sensei said to me that night, yeah? About the dynamics between God, people, and Buddha. Yeah? And of course, he did not say Buddha. Yeah? He said the Torah meaning like the Jewish law, yeah, or the Jewish like the Jewish philosophy. Yeah. But Shinjo Sensei referred to Buddha. He said there is God and there is people. Yeah, and it is opposites. And because they are opposites, they can never really interact with each other. God will always be hidden, and people will always be hidden from God. Yeah? It is opposite. And in fact, Wei Ryu original name is Pangainu, yeah? Half hard, half soft. This is a style of opposites. Yeah? So what intermediate the two opposites is Buddha. Yeah? And when you practice Buddha, you actually realize it. You realize that the divine parts in you are being drawn down and practiced one-on-one in the dojo in front of the sensei with the other students. And then when you go out the dojo, you take those things with you to life. Yeah? This is what makes you a better person, or not only a better fighter, a better person, a better spouse, a better father. So this dynamic, the Buddha is very, very important. So he said to me that night that Buddha is karate, yeah, is like rice, is like old way of cooking rice. And I said, what do you mean? He said, okay, so you take the rice, you put it in hot, under the fire, yeah, in hot pot, yeah. Then you burn it. You burn it not too much, yeah, but you burn it to purify the material, the rice. Then after the fire, you put in water, yeah, to keep going and keep purifying the material, the rice. Then when the water and the fire comes together, the two opposites, then coming air, yeah, like smoke, yeah, not smoke, but fumes, yeah, the fumes. So he said, fire, water, and air. Okay, this is the three elements. And he said, Sanchin, this is the first kata you study, and it is like fire, yeah, because you are standing and you are being hit, and it is like you are being burned. Like when you first get hit, yeah, you have all kinds of thoughts in your mind. Maybe I should give up. Maybe I should hit him back. If you're wild, then like, who's this guy hitting me? Fuck it. Why do I need this? I want to go back home. Everything that is bad inside of you will surface, and you will understand who you really are just by being beaten. Yeah, and there is a saying: your mind does not get disturbed by being beaten, but by beating others. So this is a very well-known sentence in Wei Ryu. So when you get beaten, when you stand in the Sanchin, of course, there's all kinds of benefits physically, yeah, but your mind is being burned, yeah, to purify the mind and create a better version of yourself. Then, after the Sanchin, the second classical kata, because Wei Ryu is three main katas, and there's a one lost kata. Okay, so it's a four. There's a 3 and a 4, and we'll talk about it in a minute. So after the fire element, they teach you the water element, yeah, which is Seisan, the opposite. Yeah, if Sanchin is very leaner and very, you stand still, and breathing is very heavy and fixed, like salt heavy, then water, it is very agile. They teach you techniques, how to move, like down and up, and how to be like a wave. Yeah, this is the water element, Seisan. Then after that, there comes the Sanseiryu. Yeah, Sanseiryu is the air element. You attack and you defend to all directions of the wind. You learn how to use your breathing, and how to use like internal mechanisms. Yeah. So when you get those three, this is purification, the first stage of purification, because when you have fire, water, air, the fourth one is earth, yeah, element of earth. So when you take those three elements and you put it together, you put it under the earth, and something new comes. Yeah, something new is like a tree. Yeah, grows, and you can say, if you study those three katas, the fourth kata is kind of like something that you make up out of your mind. Yeah, it's like something that is, like the sensei said, okay, your kata, your style, do whatever, become like don't think, yeah? No mind, don't think. Become, what becomes is what you should do. Yeah, you become, like, how to say, like I'm sorry about my English. Yeah, it's been a long.
Your
I guess.
English is just fine. I mean, for me, when you're talking about that, it reminds me of that technique of Mushin. The
Mushin, yeah,
idea.
exactly. So this is the
Mm.
highest level. So if we're talking about purification, people ask me sometimes, you're an actor, very well known. Now the reviews are all very good about me as an actor. And they asked, did you study acting? And I said, always say no, but I studied karate. And when you study one art very good, and you get deep in it, and you know it very well, then you are good in all kinds of arts, yeah? In every kind of art, because what you cannot really teach an art form. Yeah, art is something that you cannot speak about much like like who you really are. You cannot really put it into words. Yeah? So when you know karate, you know the principle of Mushin, of no mind, of being in the moment. And so you go on a stage, if you're a violinist, and you have to perform to people, and then you have the people, you have the conductor, you have the notes, you have what your grandmother told you about yourself when you were 6, and you will always be late. Yeah, you will never be on time with the playing. Yeah, but if you just forget all of this, and you let your training and the years that you have done the same thing always, you turn off your mind and you just let it happen, it will always be on spot. Yeah? And this is art. This is the main thing you have to know about art. This is the main thing you have to know about purification and becoming, I think, a good fighter even. Yeah, it reminds me of the fights that I've done where you're afraid, and you are standing fighting with the very big people and very powerful, fast people. It's and if you are thinking about it, the thought is so slow that you are getting hit very badly. But eventually you have to learn how to not think and how to just act, because because you have to act. You're not reacting, but you are acting. Yeah, and acting is exactly this. I remember the first time I was doing I was before in front of a camera playing a lead role, and I did not know what to do. It was my first time. I never studied acting, and the director said action, and I realized that moment that nobody's going to teach me how to do it. There's not going no help is going to come. Yeah? And it was much like fighting people at the Shinjo dojo, or fighting, like the championships in Okinawa. You realize that if you're not like if you're not starting to fight now, you're going to get very badly injured, and you have to protect yourself. Nobody's going to help. And so the automatic thing that happened is that I just canceled everything out. I said, okay, I am not shy anymore. I did not come here by taxi this morning. I don't have any camera on my face. Just me and the other guy. I am the killer. I have to shoot him now. Then just like I forgot about everything and I just lived it, and when you do that like this, it passes. You can see on the screen, you can see something that is very genuine and very real, and it is exactly the same in fighting. Yeah, if you hold your mind, you can see it. If you're a sensei, you can see it. Yeah, you can see that the student is holding himself, is hurting himself. Nobody can hurt you, but you can hurt yourself. Yeah, with your mind, with your thoughts, and the purification is basically, and the transformation is um, getting you to a place that you are not self-harming anymore, that you are not self-destructing anymore with your thoughts and with your behaviors and actions. And so I think the time that I spent with Shinjo Sensei, I was a very wild boy when I was young, and I grew up. I don't know if in a bad environment, yeah, but it was definitely a tough one, and a lot of fighting, and like selling drugs and stuff like this. When I was, I was very. I think I was very lost, yeah, and I learned. I went to America to learn 5 years karate with the Richard Ratskov Sensei, which was an amazing person. But he came from one of the people that created the anti-terrorism organization in Israel. So he had the state of mind was of a killer. Yeah. So he taught me how to fight, and he taught me techniques and stuff. But it was always, like, let's teach you how to become a killer. And when I got to Okinawa, after those 5 years, I got to Okinawa and I requested Shinjo Sensei to be a part of his dojo. I think he recognized this. He said to me this time when I was there a few months ago, he said, your eyes were not good. Yeah? And you had to be more mature so I can teach you. And so I think that eventually he did accepted me, and he did broke my spirit a few times. I remember I had something in me that never wanted to go to training, because every time I went there, I would get beaten up and by the students, by him, and then after that I had to clean the floors, and it was very intense. So I would go barefoot, and I would hope on the way to the dojo that a snake would bite me. So I would have like 2 or 3 weeks of a rest, so I wouldn't have to go there. But no snakes ever came, because God was, he had other plans for me. So I always went. I never missed even one session, one training. And eventually, this type of training burned all the thoughts that I had about myself and about what I am and what I can't be, what I am supposed to be, what is martial arts for me, and started building something new from this. Yeah, and I realized, I had a fight with one of the senior students, and he said, no, no, no punching to the face. Yeah, and the fight started, and he was very powerful. He kicked me a few times back then. I knew that I can't beat him. So naturally, my instinct was to hit him in the face, and I did. I hit him in the face, and he was bleeding all over, and the fight stopped. And Shinjo Sensei said, "This is not him that you are hurting. You are hurting yourself. Yeah, because how you will become a good martial artist, not a fighter. How like there is no chance if you cannot control yourself. Yeah? You can never really be an artist in this style. So if you put restraints in yourself and you have to learn how to work within those frames, within those restraints, you will become an artist if you don't give up, of course. And now let's say about the television projects. Sometimes if it was up to me, I would take a camera, go to the desert, and film UFOs 24/7. Yeah, because I'm interested in it. But it will not become. I will not become a good. I will not become a good artist, yeah, or actor, or I would just be doing something that is a hobby. But if I take a project where I have to be, to play something that is not comfortable for me, not in my comfort zone, and it is even a boring thing, and I will find inside of this a way to make it more interesting, make it more, like relatable to people, then I can become an artist. Yeah. So because I work with what I have, not with my mind, with my ideas of what I can have or what. And this is for me, this idea of Mushin and this idea of being present. This is the really important thing these days in martial arts. Of course, everybody in his own journey and everybody has his own point of training. And some people would be focused more on the self-defense aspect. Some people would be focused more on the sporting aspect. But I've been a long way, and I've been there and I've been that and I've done that and I've done that. And now I am more realistic, knowing that martial arts is something that I cannot live without. Actually, if I don't train one day, I just feel so bad. I just feel like I'm like something in my throat that I have to cough out. Yeah. And only Kata can help. Um, but then again, I hear people saying, "What is kata? Why do katas?" It is, people don't understand it. Sometimes when I practice on the beach, everybody they scream, "Hey, Shai Hai, how are you? We like you, we love you. What are you doing? Why are you dancing?" Yeah, and I tell them sometimes that I'm not dancing. I'm giving my demons a chance to dance. And then they dance, and I'm watching them dance. And if I don't do it, then they will make me dance. And if I dance and they will watch me dance, I will destroy my life. Yeah. So it is a way of self-regulate myself and control my destiny, control my life, and nobody can take it from me. This is something that is priceless. I cannot imagine a life where this is not a part of my being. And this is a lot, I think. And this is why when you wrote to me, it was, of course, I will talk to this guy, because I had an instant, yeah, we are brothers. Yeah. I had like an instant, why would he want to talk to me about karate? Because this is kind of like an almost extinct art. So I found a brother from New Zealand. He's a martial artist. He wants to talk about martial arts. Yeah, show business can wait. The kids can wait. Everybody can wait. Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk. So for me, this is the most important thing, and I really appreciate your way, your journey, and of course, you taking time to make this podcast is so very important. So very important. I cannot say the same thing about myself, yeah, because I wrote this blog that we are talking about now, and I did not advertise, I did not publish it. I could make it into a book and sell it, but I don't know if I should say it, but because usually when I do my art, it gets to millions of people. And so if I make a book about it and sell it to 100 or 200 people, then for me, I would feel like I did not do anything. But inside, I know that the impact that can happen if you write a martial arts book, the impact on 200 people can be much greater than the impact that 1 million people will watch me on Netflix, let's say. But yeah, the reality is very complicated, and I think if my wife would see me waste time on writing a book for 200 people, she would probably hit me harder than Shinjo Sensei, and also my agent. So maybe I will keep it to maybe like an older age. Yeah. But definitely I admire you for taking the time and making this podcast and talking to the hearts of other martial artists. This is what we are doing here. This is most important.